Division I SEC Graduation Gender Disparity Poster Project by Cooper Brooks, Thomas Simonic, Chris Trevison, Taylor Jones, and Will Udy. Throughout this presentation, you will learn about the background of the graduation gender disparity amongst collegiate basketball players,
what the graduation success rate is and how it is calculated,
common explanations for why male basketball players have lower GSR scores than women basketball players,
notable statistics about the 2015-2016 SEC basketball season GSRs,
and finally, recommendations for how male basketball players can improve their graduation success rates. So, the background for why there is a gender disparity in graduation rates between male and female basketball players. In 1990, the Students' Right to Know Act was passed by Congress, which now required universities to publish the graduation rates of both the student body and athletes, which put a lot of pressure on them to really show what the true representation was for how many student athletes were graduating each year. Each year after the implementation of the Students' Right to Know Act, women basketball players did have a significantly higher graduation success rate than all of their male counterparts. So, what is the graduation success rate? The graduation success rate reveals the true proportion of student athletes that graduate from their prospective colleges within a 6-year cohort, meaning they have 6 years after they've begun attending the university to graduate, and that will be included in the calculation.
Our calculation is not negatively impacted by transfer students who leave in good academic standing.
You may be wondering, why does it matter if male basketball players graduate less than female basketball players? Does it really matter that much? It is a disservice to hold male basketball players at a lower academic standard in order to bring revenue to universities.
It is estimated that only 1.1% of collegiate athletes will go into the NBA. Therefore, it is a priority that they stay in school and get an education in order to get a job later on in life.
Now the question is, why do male basketball players have a lower graduation success rate than women basketball players? Well, universities tend to put more pressure on male athletes for a winning season, so the university can make more money. Universities also hold male basketball players at lower academic standards than the student body. There have been cases where basketball players were accepted in school without completing the SAT and ACT, and other cases where paper classes were made by universities in order to falsely raise their GPA. Also, another big thing is men can enter the NBA at age 19 or when they complete a year of college, while women can only enter the WNBA at age 22 or if they've completed college.
So these are the most notable GSRs in the NCAA when dealing with disparities. Specifically, we wanted to focus on Kentucky because there's only an 18-point differential, which is pretty surprising because Kentucky is known for one-and-done players and having a really good basketball program. And on the other hand, schools like Mississippi State and Texas A&M have larger differentials, and this is surprising because they're not as good at basketball, so you'd expect them to have more even GSR disparities. And then this is a graph. The red represents the women and the blue represents the men. And we found this really surprising how different the differentials are, and hopefully that can be improved over time because this is an alarming fact instead.
Notable NCAA 2016 GSR disparities included Auburn University with a differential of 83 to 56, Louisiana State with a differential of 92 to 75, Mississippi State with a differential of 94 to 45, Texas A&M with a differential of 81 to 55, University of Kentucky with a differential of 100 to 82, University of Missouri with a differential of 93 to 75, and finally, the University of Tennessee with a differential of 92 to 70.
11 out of 13 teams in the SEC, excluding Georgia and Ole Miss, have GSR that was at least 10 points lower than their women's team. 8 of 13 SEC men's basketball teams had a GSR that was at least 15 points lower than their school's women's team in 2015 and 16. And this is alarming because the gap should not be that big.
Recommendations are to increase academic requirements that athletes must meet in order to participate in games, to screen the application process to ensure that all athletes have the requirements they need and that no academic fraud took place. Increase the NBA minimum age requirement to ensure that all athletes earn their degrees. Enforce academic standards by having the NCAA fine teams with low GSRs. as well as ensuring apathy is decreased in terms of academics by highlighting the correlation between graduation and occupational stability. And finally, provide academic tutors to every basketball player and enforce mandatory study halls.